Hello, YouTube family, friends, and those of you that just stopped by. Thank you for stopping by. And I'm about to attempt to do something I haven't done in a long time because it's a bit laborious. And yeah. So I'm going to make a healthy vegetable, well, a lower carb FUFU, right? I'm going to use one with cabbage and the other with spinach. And with the spinach, well, with both of them, you use, where is it at? Just a little bit of this right here, psyllium husk. You just use like maybe 2 tablespoons, but we'll get into that. I got a lot of cutting to do. I got to puree it. Then I got to cook it. So we got a bunch of steps. But I think I'm up to it. I think it's just in your head when you start thinking about it. Oh, I got to do. Oh. But, okay. Let me get started. I could have waited a little while because it is technically still a little bit frozen, but we're going to try to get it. Just getting it as tiny as possible. So I'm going to put a little bit more water in there. Of course, I'm going to strain that out, but I want to get it as mincy as possible. Okay, then you want to get a strainer. I do have a cheesecloth, but I don't really like what happens to your cheesecloth after you kind of use it on this kind of stuff. So we're going to just use this one right here that I've used before. And pour it in there. And since I've got more to do, I just leave that there and just let it drain as I do the rest. I make a lot of it because I don't really particularly love the process of making it. However, I do love fufu and eating fufu with like an African soup. But traditional fufu is pretty carby. So I found a way to still be able to, kind of get, I guess, the fufu feel of things. So I'm going to do two different sets, one with spinach and one with the cabbage. But you got to get it pretty tiny. So you probably can do this with less mess. I'm always making a mess. Try to dry it as much as possible. Get a lot of the water out. And the water, of course, I put water in it. And then you know how any vegetable is. It's just full of water anyway. When I say this is cold though, because it was frozen spinach, Fresh probably would be better, but I use what I had. Okay, I'm still not done with the spinach. But for this batch, I am going to be done with this one. I am gonna try I got it pretty dry. But I might go ahead and try the regular cheesecloth, even though I don't want to. But it came out pretty dry, and I'm gonna dry it out and cook it even more after I do this next, was it 3 little boxes? But as I said, I do it, when I do go ahead and do FUFU, I go ahead and do a lot of it because I can freeze it. And I'm going to show you what it looks like after it's frozen for a while, because I have some made, but this is my last 2, and this is broccoli, the broccoli one. That I made, and I froze it, and it's still fine. But that's my last 2, and yeah, it's time to get into it and do it again. I would not suggest doing it while it's frozen. It's a little harsh. This time I am going to do it with the regular cheesecloth just to see if the water comes out a little bit easier. I am going to be mad if it don't, because like I said, I have messed one up where I couldn't bring it back, but I had a different scarf, because you can use a scarf, but the other scarf was a little bit thinner than that one. So let's just see how this one. I'm about to incline. This one is definitely going to be better. Look at that. Again, a lot of the water, of course, you know, vegetables are what they are. And then, of course, it was frozen. Honestly, to clean up on the spinach is about as bad as doing it in broccoli. I have done cauliflower as well. And honestly, I don't know that there is it's not dirty. It's just that it's time consuming. And you are doing quite a few steps to get the water out. But it's worth it if you like what you like and want what you want, right? So we got somewhat of a dry product. That's what we're looking for. I'm gonna use this same cloth, but I'm gonna probably start a new video with doing the cabbage. But I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking this spinach, and then I'll cut my cabbage up. Okay. So we gotta cook this. So I'm gonna put it on a low heat, spread it out. Some people might add a flavor to theirs. I let it be what it is, because your soup or whatever you're gonna eat it with, that's usually pretty flavorful. So I just want it to be kind of bland. It doesn't need to have salt and pepper and all of that in it, because your soup that you're gonna eat it with is gonna have all of that. cover it so it can go ahead and do what it's going to do. Yeah. Let me show you why I hate using the cheesecloth. I just wash that. If y'all got ideas of how you clean this, you can send that in the comments because, yeah. I mean, I'm getting ready to use it again. So, I'm about to do the cabbages. So, I cut the cabbage up pretty small. That way, the blender doesn't have a whole lot to do. I already know I'm going to have to add some water to this. So, might need more water. Not doing too bad. So far, I think the cabbage is making less of a mess. And if I like it, because this will be my first time doing cabbage, I want to say right now, it's got less of a mess than the cauliflower and the broccoli and the spinach. But I don't know that I'm going to like the flavor of it, so all of that matters. Let's just take a little peek, even though we know it's not ready, but let's take a little peek at the spinach, just because I can't, you know, I feel like that was a little bit of labor. We can't let that stick or get in any way stuck to the bottom of a pan yet. Now, it'll get a little stuck when it comes down, when you put that silicus husk or whatever it's called, this. And it gets thicker so you can form it a little better. It does get a little bit stuck, but I'm okay with that. But not at this stage. Right now we just want it to cook. Take a sneak peek of I guess on low. It's been up here for what, a good maybe 10 minutes. So right now I would say that the cabbage is easier to work with, but as I stated a while ago, I don't know that I'm going to like the texture. I don't know how I'm going to feel about. Either way, I'm going to eat it, because bottom line is you can do pretty much anything with cabbage. So I'm gonna eat it anyway, but that's what it looks like. Kind of feels like I could go ahead and but if I was a coleslaw lover, I could make coleslaw. But I'm gonna go ahead and do one more head of cabbage while I'm here. Like I said, I don't like to do this process a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it worth my while I'm already making this mess. I took that off the stove a little bit. I didn't have a chance to mess with the cabbage yet because it seemed like it was cooking just a little bit too fast for me. So I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of nutritional use. You can use that. You can use coconut flour, almond flour. You can do whatever you want to do, but right here is where I am trying my best to make it a little bit healthier for me. So I'll add to this if I need to. Remember, this is a lot of fiber that you add in. So but it will bind it together for you. I really don't want to use this big spatula. Might need one more half or something like that. Since I'm going to attempt to do this hot, I'm going to use some gloves. And I'm using a cheap clear wrap, so I am also going to have to cut it with these scissors. I got another one, but it's from Great Value too, so I suppose it might be just as cheap. Oh my goodness. All right, Gina, just take your time. It's okay. Use the bigger one for this. I don't do them but so big because I don't want mine but so big when I get ready to take them out. And it'll sit like that. Some people want bigger ones, bigger balls. I don't. The broccoli, I will say, as you can see, as I showed you earlier, and I'll show you the one that I have frozen, they don't look as green as the spinach, but I think I actually mixed cauliflower and broccoli together in here. This is the ones I done and I froze, and I'm going to eat tonight. But I think that's broccoli and cauliflower mixed. As you can see, I ain't using my hand. You're going to get a good, you're going to have your FUFU thing going on. It's going to be, it ain't going to be traditional. Nothing like that, because you know we're using vegetables. But you'll be able to take a piece off and it'll stay together like you want it to do to pick up your soup. In that same pan, I'm going to go ahead and start, because I got one more cabbage I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do this cabbage. And as you can see, it was kind of it was this size. I consider that kind of small myself. Maybe medium. And so this yielded a medium. I got 4. Well, this makes more than that spinach does, didn't it? So we'll see how many we get out of this. But we got to let this cook too. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I probably should have washed out the thing before I put this in here, because you know it already had some of the silicus husk. I guess that's what, psyllium husk? What is this? Psyllium husk powder in there. So of course I should have washed it out, and I will before I put my next batch in here, but this is okay for now. Just have to watch it a little bit more closely as it's cooking. That's what you get for rushing. And it was not a good idea to use the same pot pan. That was not a good idea. But, hey. I used 3 tablespoons in here just because it's a lot. I kind of halfway wish that I had mixed the spinach with the cabbage, honestly. Right this minute, though, I am somewhat a little bit partial to the cabbage. Like I said, I have to make sure that I like it with, I guess I could taste it now, couldn't I? Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I am finding a little bit, some particles that didn't, pieces that didn't exactly. Yeah, that taste is just like you want it. And it's going to hold well together well as that's the spinach ones. Yeah, I would do this cabbage again and again. Just got to be ready for mess. Original FUFU does not make that big of a mess. However, you need to have a strong arm. Definitely. I don't make them huge because this is about as much as I'm gonna need. If I do need 2, I'll take out 2 like I did. That's how you saw me take out the one that I had done. But usually, sometimes, something's gonna be might be a waste, and I don't want to waste. But I am pretty proud of this right now, with the exception of the bottom of the pan is a little scorched. But don't look at that. I got one more batch to do, and I'm gonna wash this pan first, though. I won't make y'all look at that. I'm about to end this. But that's a low carb fufu, and it will stay together. I'm not even going to tell you to use, like I just used, the 3 tablespoons of psyllium husk. I'm not even going to say do that. Maybe stick with the 2. Once you do it a couple times, you'll find what you need to do for you and what you like. How you know. How you want it to stick together or whatever. So I guess regardless, I still just got 4 out of this one. It's okay. I'll get 4 more. So. Anyway, y'all, this is my take on a healthier version of fufu. I am going to have mine with, I put chicken and fish together with peanut butter, tomato paste. I should have said I cooked the chicken first and the fish and ginger, fresh ginger, tomato paste, fresh ginger, fresh garlic, onions, regular yellow onions. You can use red. Matter of fact, I think I used red and yellow. And Sazon. I used some chicken bouillon. Cooked that, cooked it. Then after it was done, I with some oil. After it was done, I put the peanut butter in there. You can do things as you like to taste. You're not going to taste the peanut butter. I know that sounds like, who wants peanut butter? When I say you're not going to taste that peanut butter, you are not going to taste that peanut butter. But anyway, y'all, this, oh boy, was my take on vegetable fufu. Something that's less carby. And I'm pretty proud of it.